When people think of Japan, they might think of Tokyo. Lights, robots, high-tech, bustling big cities. Been there, done that, and that part of Japan truly is great, but what else does Japan have to offer? So we set off on a 2-week road trip in a rented camper van to see nearly the entirety of Japan to find out for ourselves what else there is to see and do in Japan. After 15 days and 9 SD cards of footage, here we are to show you Japan off the beaten path. Good morning from the top of a volcano. It's Mount Aso. You want to say something?
Sure. This volcano is actually a collection of 5 different craters. It's actually active. The one that you saw here, the Nandake crater, is still spewing smoke, and it constantly is, and it has been for the last, I forget how long it said for like the last couple thousand years. It's pretty neat to actually see a live volcano.
So why do they build buildings up here if it's not dormant?
Just because there's not a lot of risk of damage, because it's not actively erupting, so they'll monitor it to make sure that it's not going to erupt. And a lot of times, a lot of the buildings are used for like monitoring stations and scientists who do research on the volcanoes and stuff. And then in this case, they have some for like tourism type stuff to take you to the top of the craters. I was reading about the Japanese National Park Service equivalent, and they will actually shut down the park if they believe that there's too much toxic gas being released from the volcano.
Okay, yeah, I get that, but like, why do they build a building up here if there's risk?
Because there's not a lot of risk.
Still think it's dumb.
It is a risk they're willing to take.
If you find yourself in Kyushu, I highly recommend this, because if you're here during operating hours, you can go up to the live crater. We missed that.
It starts at 8:30.
It starts at 8:30. You also get a really good view of Kumamoto, which is one of the biggest cities down here. Watching the sunrise or sunset from up here is just amazing. And yeah, I think it's definitely a highlight so far.
And if you happen to be into astrophotography, like I am, check out these photos that I took while we were at the top of the mountain.
I thought you were going to say if you're interested in astrophotography, this is a great place for it.
Yeah, that too. If you're into astrophotography, this is a great place for it. While we walked the trail through Takachiho Gorge, I was getting some serious Middle-earth vibes. The cliff walls are remnants of the last known eruption of Mount Aso some 270,000 years ago. You can get up close and personal with the 17-meter-tall Manai waterfall that in Japanese folklore was believed to be created by their gods. The tales continue as you wander over the trail that is believed to be the footpath of the gods, marked with various natural features like the massive 200-ton boulder that was believed to be thrown by the god Kihachi as a sign of his power to the local villagers. Today the gorge is designated as a national natural monument by the Japanese government, and the falls are listed among the 100 most beautiful waterfalls in all of Japan, and we agree that they are worth all the time that we spent wandering the beautiful path.
We hardly made it out of the area that we were staying in on our way to Nagasaki, and Dan found a waterfall. He's a sucker for waterfalls, so of course we had to stop. Today is probably the least amount of driving we're gonna have, probably the whole trip. We've only done like 2 hours so far, and we've got like 2.5 more to go. So pretty short day in the car. Sounds surprising, but we've been pushing 7 or so every day, so nice break. We're gonna chill out in Nagasaki, check out the Peace Park, the History Museum, and a view of the city. I've heard good things about Nagasaki, heard that it's one of the best cities in Japan, so we're excited to check it out finally.
After what was one of our shortest days of driving, we were able to wind back the hands of time to see the city of Nagasaki through the eyes of the survivors of the second ever nuclear bombing at the Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Museum and Peace Memorial. You would never guess that such a horrendous tragedy took place here such a short time ago by how beautiful the city has become. So, the lady left her sponge on her car, and Emma just ran it back.
What did you say?
I said that what happened.
Yeah, she was very happy.
It's good. Is this a one? Today, Nagasaki, which is Japan's second oldest port city, is thriving, and after the war, it transitioned from the wartime industry to becoming a major fishing and shipbuilding hub for the country. Staying atop of Mount Nabekammuri, you can get a true feel for the life of this bustling city. So, Google Maps, on our way to our coin laundry, decided it would be...
Hold on. Our coin laundry is supposed to be like a 6-minute drive, and it took us like 20 minutes.
Google Maps told us, hey, turn left down this road. So I turned left down this road, and it's a sharp downhill. I'm like, wow, this is really steep. Get going downhill. I'm like, wow, this is a really pretty view. And then it's like, make a U-turn. And I'm like, where?
Because
it's a dead-end road. And the road is literally like maybe 5.5 feet wide.
I'm gonna like try to find some. I'm gonna try to find like some Google images, Google Maps or something, because it was a way too stressed video.
Maybe we'll walk down there tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Cause oh my gosh, keep in mind we're driving like a minibus. We're not driving a regular car. And if you're not familiar with Japan, they love tiny roads. Okay, back to the real story.
So, get to the bottom of this hill. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to turn around. There's a driveway, but it's angled the wrong way. I can't back into it, and I can't back out of it because it's got a giant fence. So I can't even pull in to like do a 3-point turn. So, I have to back all the way up the hill.
It's like a 4% grade too.
Oh, it was more than, that was more than 4.
6%.
That was probably 6 to maybe 8% grade.
OMG.
Backed all the way up this hill. And then the car decided it was a good idea.
You're missing 2 key details. One side is a ditch. One side is a cliff.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. There's a fence though, so.
Okay.
Like it's gonna stop a van.
Yeah.
And then a car decided it was time to back down the hill while I was backing up the hill. And then I'm like, get out of my way. So I just go up the hill, like, not full speed, safely. And I'm like, get out of my way. And then they move. And then they just keep getting out of my way. Because I back all the way up the hill. I don't stop. And then we make it to the top. And then went on our merry way to the coin laundry.
Oh my gosh. I My heart was like 160. It's like the most stressed I think I've ever been. We had a fun day in Nagasaki. Wish we had more time in the city. It's a really, really nice city. And now it's time for a drink, for some chocolate.
And my drink is from a Japanese brewery.
The one prefecture we can't go to.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like the best beer.
And some cards. Time to unwind. I feel like every night we say like, we're finally gonna get to relax, and then something happens, like we gotta drive on a tiny mountain road, or we don't get in till midnight, or we almost drive off a cliff. Like, maybe actually tomorrow we'll get to relax 100%. We'll see.
Well, we are camping on a beach tomorrow night, hopefully.
The Sea of Japan. Get to see the Sea of Japan finally. We've never been to the north/west part of Japan, and we're heading back up the country. No, I'm literally filming.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair excuse.
We had a pretty good night's sleep, other than some people being loud in the parking lot, downside to van life, and now we make our adventure back north. I don't remember the first place we're headed, but we're going back to the Japanese main island called Honshu, and we're gonna start our adventure up to Aomori. Hello everybody. We have made it to... Where are we? We've made it to Ohama Beach. If you're like me, you probably don't know where this is. We are now on the west coast. We are now on the west coast of Japan. Today, we didn't really do much during the day. It was pretty relaxed. The only thing we really came to see, we're finally getting to at 5:30, is Motonosumi something shrine. It resembles Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto, but it's on the beach, and I'm very excited for it. It was a long drive up here from Nagasaki, so the only plan left is to see the shrine, cook a really wacky dinner from things we scavenged at a convenience store. So stay tuned for that. Change of plans, per usual. If I've learned anything about van life and just constantly traveling, it's always be prepared for change of plans. Google Maps says it closes at 5, and we didn't believe Google, so we filmed our...
That's a Y plate!
I never thought we'd see one on this trip.
So for those of you that don't know,
in 400 meters,
Y plates signify Americans in Japan.
We came to the shrine, and the shrine itself is not closed, but all their parking lots are closed. So we're just gonna come back in the morning. Again, Google says they open at 9, but their sign says 7 to 4:30. So we're just gonna come at 7 and see what happens. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's raining really hard. So we can't go to the shrine still. So that's unfortunate. We're gonna drive past it again just to see it from like the outside, but we can't actually go down into it. I mean, I guess we could, but we don't feel like it. It's just really rainy and windy and cold. We're just gonna mosey on up the coast and hope that the rain doesn't follow. We just got done at Iwami something mine. I don't know, Gin something. We just got done at a silver mine. It was really cool. This town is known for its silver mines. It's like one of the biggest silver mining towns back in the day. Unfortunately, it's still raining. At least it's not very cold and windy down here in the valley, but this rain is just annoying at this point. It still looks very much like it probably did back in the day. And then we're moving on to a national park, which has got a beautiful cliffside looking over the ocean. I'm sure it'll be prettier on a sunny day. And then on to Tottori sand dunes, which is one of the top things I'm looking forward to, because when you think of Japan, you typically don't think of sand dunes. So, very excited for it. On today's episode of what we could compile for a meal at the convenience store is mixed salad, some dressing, and then for toppings we have some soybeans and vegetables, and some of these crunchy things. Is it good? Looks real cute.
Good enough. So I'm sure by now you have figured out that we are doing our best to be off the beaten path and explore some of the more wild, unknown places in Japan. This national park was not even on our list of things we wanted to see and does not seem to be largely popular with tourists, but it quickly became one of the most memorable sites from the trip. Like clockwork, Fumishima Island becomes home to more than 5,000 black-tailed gulls every year from December to July, and we were lucky enough to get to see them soaring around in their natural breeding grounds. That was awesome. That was so cool. Like thousands of birds just cruising.
Oh my gosh. It was a very, very awesome surprise. Because we came to this, well, we knew there was a lighthouse, right?
Yeah, I came here for the lighthouse.
Okay, we came for the national park, the cliffs, the lighthouse, and it turned into be a seagull breeding ground, and it's like the beginning of their breeding season. So we just see all these seagulls. And we were probably out there for like an hour, just trying to pretend we're part of National Geographic, taking photo and video, and just watching them. It was so cool.
To end this episode, after what was probably one of the coolest experiences of my life, we hit the road again, making our way across the Eshima Ohashi Bridge, which is famous for how steep it appears from the ground. We made it to the Tottori sand dunes that night, which is where we will pick up in 2 weeks, so while you wait for part 3, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications because you won't want to miss what we have in store next week. Thanks for watching.